Welcome back to A Defense of the Awkward Moment. Game of Thrones, Season 3, joined once again by Michael Zupon.
I'm going to title myself Honorary Maester at this point. I am his guide to the world of Westeros.
You are my guide to the world of Westeros, sir. I appreciate you sticking around to do these.
Sure. These are fun.
Season 3, in general, they continue to get better. The seasons just in general continue to get better, which is, good. There hasn't been a slow, weak season yet. Other than season 1, and we've already talked about why that was, but everything, they just still continue to get better, and that's good. The storylines are becoming slightly more interesting. We talked at the beginning of the first one of these that we did about how there's a lot of crud to sludge through, but then you find the occasional gemstone, and
yes,
that continues to hold.
Diamonds in the poop.
Diamonds in the poop. It really, really does. There's a lot of beginning to color stories in. And making them work, which I really liked. Among the different plot lines, along the different stories, characters, Varys and the business of trying to bribe Littlefinger's chief whore. How in the world did he, of all people, think that was not going to go sideways?
Well, doesn't happen in the book. The whole Roz thing is not in the book. So this is something that they tried to do because Roz was originally up from the north. Remember, she was the one that Theon was dunking, and then somehow it was supposed to be a northern girl comes south and makes good, and then gets in over her head and pays for it. Much like the Starks, just writ small and with fewer clothes on. But it was supposed to give you another insight into the really, really, really nasty side of Joffrey's personality, because nobody else would have that kind of view.
That whole scene when all that's revealed, when Littlefinger and Varys are having their little conversation together about the ladder and the Game of Thrones.
Yes.
That was probably the moment when Littlefinger lost every single last shred of any kind of redeeming value whatsoever.
You thought he had some before then?
It was entertaining to watch him before now. I really enjoyed the banter between him and Varys.
Oh yeah.
Before now, but now I really just want to see him dead.
He's a snake.
And it's not that Varys isn't either. Though something actually that I don't have here in my notes. I can't remember if this was season 3 or season 2. But when he finally tells the story about how he was gelded.
Yes.
And then you realize he was inside the box. And you're like, oh, snap!
Yeah. He has long plans for vengeance. He doesn't do anything short and
Yeah,
quick tempered. He doesn't do anything quick tempered. Impetuous is the word I was looking for.
That was a good moment when you realized who was inside of the box. That was good stuff.
They're both absolutely cutthroat, but most people, me included, like Varys better because it's not all self-serving.
Yeah.
Peter is out for Peter and nobody else.
Yeah. You know? No, Littlefinger's a twee little bit of a douche. It's true.
With a strange accent that keeps shifting
from season to season. Indeed. Whatever the name of the moron, moving on here, whatever the name of the moron who sold Daenerys the Unsullied was, this is another one of those moments of how in the world could you not think
the good masters of Astapor are neither good nor masters. Discuss.
I just, yes, I realized that he didn't realize that she spoke Old High Valyrian or whatever.
But who cares?
Yeah, how did you not?
If she spoke Braille, it's still a bad idea to sell all your army to somebody.
And then not expect them to come back and ruffle stomp you. I don't know how in the world he thought that wasn't going to go sideways on him. Never... Even if it was just a dragon for a small number of troops. Oh, I've now got a fire-breathing dragon that I'm holding by a leash, and I expect to make it obey me instead of breathing fire. How are you going to discipline it?
How do you train a fire-breathing dragon? No one's figured that out yet.
Yeah, are you gonna try and break it the same way you do a horse? You don't want to risk breaking your dragon the same way you do a horse. So yeah, I don't. He's an idiot, and totally deserve what he got.
Well, I mean, And the whole scene is just another sheen on Dany's plot armor.
Oh.
Because no other character in this series would run into somebody that's stupid.
Yeah. Several times. That stupid or that willing to just fall down below the voodoo punani.
Yes.
We're going to talk about this a little bit later on, but the business with her and the second son says,
with Dario.
Is that even? He's just another person. Now that I'm done with season 3, I can watch that Honest Trailers thing.
Yes, you can.
Yet another person whose name I couldn't be bothered to learn.
Dario the sex pirate. Oh wait, no,
no, that was
Salador is the sex pirate. Dario is just the sex mercenary.
Yeah. I won't lie. I would so love to see Brienne of Tarth and Jaime somehow. I know this probably won't happen, but I would love to just see Jaime quit Cersei completely and go and run off into the hills with Brienne of Tarth and spend the next 4 seasons having Brienne slowly redeem him. Would so love to see that happen. Okay. Silence speaks thunders.
Well, your wife is in the room and she's reading the books, but the in the books their relationship is much closer along those lines. Jaime has dreams about Brienne.
It's so hinted at. It's definitely a more subtle form of the foreshadowing that these TV shows have normally been.
There are a lot of ships been launched over the Jaime and Brienne.
Yeah, I mean that's there, and that would be such. That would be a much more interesting way to see Jaime evolve. I mean, obviously not knowing what goes on in the other seasons. Mm-hmm. Him walking back through. He makes it all the way to Cersei's room looking like that. All the way to Cersei's room looking like a freaking hobo.
Yeah, but you'd think he would have stopped for a shave.
Or a shower or new clothes or anything.
Changing the bandage on his stump.
Yeah, Cersei, something. She turns around and how she doesn't go, ah, and then accidentally shoot him.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was Jaime. He was cleverly disguised as a street bum.
Just cleverly disguised as a pile of trash.
Somebody from Flea Bottom. Yeah, I would desperately love to see Jaime and Brienne get together. Lawful good. With lawful evil, their children would be amazing. What's the deal with Stannis Baratheon's daughter? You know that she's there, but you haven't been given in, or if you have, I'm clearly too stupid to have picked up on it. He has a daughter. I mean, I know the wife. He doesn't see his wife a whole lot, and you
have
clearly
you met his wife?
Yes, very briefly, and she pickles infants, and that's just fucking weird.
Yeah.
But somehow there's a daughter that came out of all this, and the daughter's all scaly, and you don't really. Let's talk about both of those things. First off,
okay,
what's going on with his wife? She's clearly not entirely solvent.
The wife is a little nuts. She has at this point in the story become a devout follower of the Red God. So she is Melisandre's best buddy. The pickling infants is not in the book. She's just known as a religious, twisted fanatic by this side. The daughter, sweet little girl.
Yeah, seems
caught a disease called grayscale, which is fatal to adults, occasionally survivable by infants. She was able to survive it, so she's basically disfigured, but in all other ways, a sweet little kid.
And hooked on phonics work for her.
And she's going to teach Davos about books.
Yep.
She likes the books, and she likes the Davos.
Well, and there's lots of her talking about, the dragon riders and dragons and blah, 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 blah. So that's clearly going to...
Well, she was raised on a place called Dragonstone.
That's clearly going to come back to...
Carved into giant dragons everywhere, with dragon gargoyles, and dragons on the walls, and dragons on the furniture, and dragons... Yeah.
All right. Multiple priests of the Lord of Light. The Lord of Light, the Red God, one and the same, right?
The Red God is the one that Jaqen H'ghar worships. He is the god of death. He is also called the many-faced god.
Okay, so the Lord of Light and the Red God, two different people.
Depending on who's calling them that. Some people call the Lord of Light... Well, the Lord of Light has the red priests following them, so sometimes it gets confused with red priests, red god. The Lord of Light likes...
They could have picked any other color. They could have picked taupe.
The Lord of Light likes burning things.
It's true. He does have that going on for him.
He's got the burn.
Multiple priests, though. It's inevitable, but they seem not really to be aware of what the other person is doing. And for the record, I like the drunk priest a whole lot more than I do
Thoros of Myr, the drunken priest. Yes. I don't know how much they go into it in the story or in the show. Thoros of Myr was sent by the priests of the Red or Fire God to basically become buddies with Robert Baratheon, hang out with him, and kind of inject some of their philosophy into Westeros. Mm-hmm. Thoros of Myr came over, was not the highest ranking priest, but he likes drinking and fighting, so he got along with Robert very well.
Like you do.
He liked to enter melees at tournaments, set his sword on fire, and just scare the crap out of everybody.
Like you do.
Like you do. So basically he was temperamentally suited for his job, but not necessarily a really good priest. Melisandre was sent over specifically to find the prince who was promised, Azor Ahai, blah, 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 and, execute some prophecy. She wasn't having any of this get drunk, set your sword on fire, and hit people with it. She has a mission, and
boring.
It's to make semen demons and kill people. And
so boring. So boring. Marjorie's grandmother.
Olenna Tyrell.
She wins.
Everything.
Diana
Rigg, the Avenger.
She's so amazing. It's so wonderful to see somebody walk in and manhandle
everybody.
Yeah. The conversation between her and Tyrion when he clearly realizes that she had his short hairs in her fist before she even walked into the room.
Is that a midget joke?
No, but I guess it could be.
Yeah, she is now.
Yeah, she's amazing. There needs to be more of her. I really hope there's more of her. She's probably doomed. She's clearly not a principal. But
she's so damn cool.
She is so damn cool. There definitely needs to be more of her. Yeah, Farron Greyjoy bathes in karma. Holy crap! That's yeah, you were right. I think we talked offline about how the fact that you kind of almost start maybe feeling sorry a little bit for Farron Greyjoy.
Theon,
not
Theon.
Whatever.
His dad's Balin. That's why I was a little
still
confused. Still don't know his name. But bad things happen to him.
That ginger, they really, really do. And I'm not entirely sure why bad things start happening to him. They gloss over it very, very quickly in the TV show. But he gives a wonderful speech. Let's defend Winterfell. Blah blah blah. Then somebody knocks his ass out, and he wakes up in the middle of a dungeon porn movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was Saw 6,
I think.
Yeah, somebody named Ramsay has him now, who apparently is very, very good at his job. This is aided somewhat by the fact that Theon is an idiot.
Oh yeah. Well, he's always been an idiot. Now he's just being punished for being an idiot.
And we're down there in the dungeon. You're being tortured. You somehow escape. You immediately trust the person who's helping you to escape. You're not keeping track of anything that's going on. So yeah, he gets caught again. But then, in the middle of the dungeon, two extraordinarily attractive and willing to have sex with a smelly, tortured individual women come in and want to have sex with a smelly, tortured individual. How? He's a moron.
Yeah.
He really, really is.
He really is a slave to his carnal lusts.
But how do we end up? It's time to go home again. Somebody beats him on the back of the head with a rock, bag him, and when he wakes up, he's in,
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Theon and the Raiders were supposed to raid Winterfell.
Yeah, fishing villages or something
well,
like that.
and then he decided that he was going to go
take
Winterfell.
Yeah.
The whole thing was he wasn't supposed to hold Winterfell.
Yeah.
The Greyjoys, A, don't do that.
Yeah,
we're
islanders. We're strong because of our ships.
Exactly. And Winterfell is way too far inland to support from the sea. And they're not land troops. So he basically took it because, hey, I was a hostage here. I'm going to get some of my own back by taking their home.
Yeah, now I can prove I'm a big boy.
And now I'm a Lord of the North. Except his troops didn't want to stay there because, unlike him, they knew that they were too far inland and weren't supposed to be doing this crap shit. So when he said, when a relief force shows up, they basically say, hey, we'll give you our leader if you let us go.
Oh.
Which didn't happen, but they knock Theon out and say, okay, here's our leader. And they're like, okay, you can go, lies. And,
Yeah.
So Ramsay Bolton, actually Ramsay Snow at this point, because he is a bastard in name and action, is Roose Bolton's bastard son.
Okay.
Roose Bolton being the other main perpetrator of the Red Wedding.
Yes.
John's sidekick,
Yes.
one of his lead generals.
Yes.
His most powerful bannerman.
Yeah.
Creepy dude.
Very much so.
Yeah. So, as part of the whole Red Wedding betrayal, Ramsay was supposed to go take Winterfell, got to Winterfell, found out there was a bunch of Norsemen there, and said, hey, now I can take it and have an excuse and look like I'm doing a good thing. Ramsay Snow, as implied, was a torturous, raping, evil, mean bastard to begin with.
Yeah.
And now he just has somebody noble to play with.
Yeah.
And so does. He is up there. Well, he is the physical embodiment of Peter Baelish's Littlefinger's id, really. Everything Peter Baelish thinks about doing to people, Ramsay Bolton does.
Okay.
And basically everything he's doing to Theon at this point is to break him down.
Yeah.
Physically mutilating him, letting him think that he's escaped just to recapture him, sending girls to him after he chops off his wang. So, yeah, so he makes the kid a eunuch and then sends girls to, seduce him. Because that's just the kind of prick Ramsay
Well,
is.
I haven't seen the girls come back yet. Maybe that's in season 4. Haven't seen the girls come back yet.
Could be, but
The girls came in first, and
does he cut the wang off after the girls?
Yeah,
is that
the
what it
girls.
is? Okay,
Yeah.
I had my timing mixed.
And then he
up,
sends the wang to Lord Greyjoy.
yes, Balin,
And the sister
Yara.
decides that, in spite of her brother being a little bit of a creep, she's going to go collect 50 hard Northerners and
Go get him back, even though the Bolton Castle is on the far side of the continent,
Yeah.
and is closer to the ocean if you count the other ocean as being ocean.
Well, it's good to have goals.
Yeah.
It's good to have goals.
Yes. Ramsay Bolton. Basically, apparently one psychopath, or two if you count Joffrey wasn't enough. They added a third for this season.
Yeah. Theon Greyjoy bathes in karma. Also a moron, because torture and sex don't mix.
Also an idiot.
Yeah, it's true. The business with Tyrion and Shay. The business with Tyrion and Shay, with Tyrion now having to marry Sansa, is a tough thing.
Yes.
It really, really is. And they I understand why it sucks for Tyrion. I understand why it sucks for Sansa. But the relationship of Tyrion and Shay, it sucks for both of them, and they both have legitimate points. I'm not entirely sure whose side I sympathize with more. Mm-hmm. But I'm kind of leaning more towards Tyrion's. Yeah. From the simple standpoint that
he knows the consequences of her getting caught.
Yeah. She
doesn't, or at least doesn't appear to internalize the consequences of them getting caught.
And she's readily portrayed as an intelligent individual who's smarter than the average camp girl.
Right.
How she didn't think that something like this was a possibility, and then more than that, now that it's happened, why she continues busting Tyrion's balls over it, when she clearly kind of understands him better than anybody else, and they're close and they're personal and they love each other. But I'm not saying the situation doesn't suck.
It sucks,
but I almost kind of feel like she's suddenly, oh my God, how did this happen? And you're a bastard for letting it happen. Well, you knew who I was when you pledged yourself to me.
Yeah. It's like, you're a camp follower. You're a very nice camp follower. You have amazing punan. But it was never going to work. It was something that had to have an end.
And I mean, maybe if it had been anybody other than Tyrion, whose single brightest spot in his life, which she had to again know about, was living that life and making his mark on that world that he was in. Maybe then she would have been able to bait him away with a candy apple smile and say, let's go someplace else with a bag of diamonds and
Right.
be somebody not us. But, is it Tyrion was very, I'm a Lannister. This is the world
That I was born to.
yeah, that I have to live in.
And despite the fact he treats me like crap, I really want to impress Daddy.
Well, yeah, there's that too. It's a sad thing. It really, really is. It's a sad thing. Bran the Warg, Bran the Critter Whisperer.
Bran the backpack rider.
Yeah. I'm trying really hard to be interested in him, and it's just not happening.
Well, what could we do to make that more interesting for you?
I
Give him his legs back. Do you want to see him walk?
No, I just don't care about him. I mean, great, he can take control of, he can take control of animals, and eventually I'm sure he'll gain the ability to take control of people. And I'm sure that somewhere that will be used at a critical moment to do a critical thing. And those should all be really interesting things. Maybe it's the character, maybe it's the actor, maybe it's the set dressing.
It's a slow plot line this season. It's a slow plot line.
Yeah, I just can't be bothered. Can't be bothered.
Yeah.
The Red Wedding.
Oh, we're here.
Yes.
Okay.
We're here.
We're
The
jumping
Red Wedding.
straight to it. All right.
First and foremost, like everything else about this show, I'm not sure what all the hype was about. I almost cheered when Cat Stark died.
Oh, I did.
I definitely cheered a little bit when Robb went down. The only person I felt bad for was Robb's wife. And I only felt a little bit bad for her because, again, we have to open
She never
up the
asked
book.
for this.
Yeah, she never asked for it, but you kind of have to open up the book of what did you think was going to happen. All of you dumb fuckers, you spend like half of the episode leading up to the actual incident of the Red Wedding going on and on and on about how Lord Frey is a douche and he's a horrible person, he's this and that there. And then you get there, and with a wink and a smile, he forgives everything and rolls out the red carpet for you. Mm-hmm. How stupid! These are all highborn individuals that, and several of them know how to play the game. How dumb do you have to be to...
Cat Stark thinks she knows how to play the game. She's always thought that she knows how to play the game. Robb Stark doesn't know how to play the game.
It's fair.
The Northmen with him don't know how to play the game. Roose Bolton was in on it, so...
Again, this is one of those things that shouldn't have been shock and awe. By this time, and I'm the minority here. I accept that I'm the minority here. Robb and Cat die. The worst part about the Red Wedding was the wife. Again, yet another person whose name I can't be bothered to remember. Talisa.
No, the worst part of the Red Wedding was Grey Wind. That was just mean.
Yeah.
He gets a much better send-off in the books, in that he gets out of his cage and tears some assholes before going down. But
no, I mean it was bad. But they cleared out most of the room before the shit went down, so it's not like it was a huge massacre until after the fact, anyway. When all the Stark followers and everybody who came to the wedding went down. But it wasn't. I knew it was coming. A wedding, and then they started walking towards the twins. At some point in the movie, it was like, oh, that's where this is.
Oh, that's what's gonna happen.
Because I with the internet, you knew about the Red Wedding back when I gave no shits about Game of Thrones or whatsoever. So many articles online about the Red Wedding, and people just going nuts. And back then, they were just random names, and I couldn't be bothered to remember them. I knew the Red Wedding. Yeah, no, I still can't. I knew the Red Wedding was coming, and I knew what was going to happen in general. But now that it's here and it's gone, like everything else about this show, I'm not sure what all the fuss was about. I'm really, really not. I clapped a little bit for Cat, clapped a little bit for Robb. Well done. Lord Frey's archers suck.
Yeah, they're not the world's greatest.
Horribly. Reload again. We haven't gotten them. We're out of crossbow bolts, sir.
Yeah.
We really, really are.
In the book, the Great John, the Umber Lord, throws a table over Robb, so there's like some excuse for it taking a while, as opposed to, look, a standing target.
Yeah, I mean, that should have been over with one volley. Lord Frey shouldn't have even had time to gloat. It really, really shouldn't.
Oh, he always takes time to gloat.
Samwell. How is he not dead?
How is he not dead? How has he not lost weight?
Yeah. He's
been going through basic training. He marched 300 miles through snow and ice with, crap food, and that boy is still rotund.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. How is Dilly not dead? How is the baby not dead? How are they all not dead? That having been said, the bit with the White Walker, and the bit with the Dragon Glass,
Sam the Slayer,
which it's horrible that's probably how that's going to go down. So that was kind of cool. All the birds outside. That was kind of that was a well done. That was a well done scene. But no, I don't know how they're not dead. I don't know how they're not horribly, horribly, horribly freaking dead. I really, really don't. Ygritte.
The sweet redhead. A little sour too. She's a wild girl.
She knows who Sam is. She knows what Sam's gonna do. Not Sam, John.
John.
She knows who John is. She knows what John's gonna do. They've had conversations about being devoted to each other. And when John finally goes rogue outside of the tower in the rain, all she has to do is turn around and put an arrow in Giant's Bane. All she has to do.
You can't shoot Tormund Giant's Bane. Tormund is the shit.
You turn it, twang, and then it's over. But
Tormund is so cool.
If they hadn't made such a big deal out of the fact that, I know you're not one of us. I know you're still a crow. I know you're still an honorable man. I know that's what you're going to do. Blah, 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 blah,
and
blah.
he gives great oral, so apparently.
Apparently, great oral. I just wanted to kiss you. That's never, ever would have worked for any other man.
Yeah, well. Have you compared John to the other wildlings?
It's fair.
He's like beyond the Brad Pitt of the wildling world.
It's
he's the Kit Harington of the wildling world, actually.
But I don't know how could she have been surprised? How could she have been when it finally happens? Okay, you haven't turned him in, and when it finally happens, you don't help him. You instead get pissed off, track him, and then shoot him full of arrows for him doing something that you knew he was going to do, that you confronted him about, and that he did not deny. You had the opportunity to do something about it for several episodes.
She was not blessed with an overabundance of schooling.
Yes, such frustrating.
But she's cute.
So. Much ugh, yes. Indeed.
And yet another redhead in John's life. It's really weird how he collects them.
He does. He does tend to collect himself some redheads, doesn't he?
He does.
The business with the sacking of whatever city it is, we talked about the Second Sons. The business of sacking the city.
Astapor or Yunkai?
Yunkai, I think.
First she gets the Unsullied from Astapor, and then they go to Yunkai.
This would have definitely been Yunkai.
Yeah.
There's this conversation with, Brad Pitt and Jorah Mormont, and I don't remember his name. I'm sorry.
Dario Naharis.
If for no other reason.
It gets even worse because they switch actors next season to somebody who looks completely different.
Oh, no shit!
Yeah. So you're like, who's this guy? It's the same guy?
Yes, further proof that he's going to die at some point.
Blonde long hair is now dark haired with a beard? What's going on here?
So Dario, Jorah Mormont, and Grey Worm, which is a fantastic name, they are going to go into the back door of the city. They're going to kill a couple of guards. They're going to open the front door, and then the Unsullied wander their ass in there. So they go through the back door. Dario kills the first couple of guards. They all kill the second couple of guards. But then they're completely and totally, guards just fucking pour into the arena.
Oh, yeah.
And they're completely and totally surrounded by them. Shit has gone downhill. And then they cut back to what I'm guessing now was several hours later, to Barristan Selmy and did I finally get his name right?
Selmy.
Close. So close. To Barristan Selmy and Daenerys. How long is it going to take? How long is it going to take? Well, how long is it going to take for fucking what? You don't hear any noise in the background. There's no sign of pillaging or burning or this and that or the other. And all of a sudden, Jorah and Dario and Grey Worm walk up, and they're all covered with blood, and the city is yours. What the fuck? You went from completely surrounded to opening up the gates and then suddenly sacking the city. That was so badly done.
That's more of a fight than you see in the books, which is actually better in the books because they go off. You hear about the adventures, but you don't see the fact that they were outnumbered 30-1 and yet somehow come out of it.
Yeah, That's just poor storytelling. For as much as they've stretched out episodes to tell stories so far, that just seemed like...
Well, they had to stretch out episodes to get more booby in it.
Yeah, I guess. That was frustrating. The relationship between the Hound and Arya.
Best TV ever.
Oh my gosh. Continues to be so enjoyable.
The whole Hound saga.
Yeah.
Meeting with Arya's saga. I mean, it's like the Brotherhood with banners and flaming swords and one-eyed undead people, and then he kidnaps Arya, and instead of doing anything vile and rash, he makes her his sidekick.
Yeah, there's just the weirdest buddy cop thing.
It is.
And it's so great.
Oh, yeah.
It's so great. And then, of course...
And chicken. Chicken everywhere.
Yeah. Yes.
You want to die over some chicken? Somebody's going to die over some chicken.
And then in the end, after she, those guys are talking about how they cut the Starks down at the twins, and she jumps off of the wagon and knifes one of them. And the Hound takes out the others, and he's not pissed that she took the knife. He's just pissed that she didn't give him any warning.
She doesn't know how to use it right yet.
And then she starts fingering the coin that Jakin gave her, and it's like, oh, it's gonna get real.
It's so gonna get real.
Yes, it's gonna get so real, and it's gonna be so good.
And as young as she was back then, Maisie just keeps holding her own with these great actors.
She really does. Gosh darn it.
And she makes every scene she's in better, no matter who else is there. It's like, Charles Dance, yeah, I'm keeping up with you, old man. The Hound, you're 7 feet tall, but I'm still with you. I'm 4'2", but let's get this on.
Yeah, no, I'm officially a fan of Arya now. Congratulations. She
did it all by herself.
She has won me over. Yeah. I'm so glad that Arya's going to go find Jakin.
What makes you think that?
Well, she was...
I'm kidding.
Unless I completely... Because I've missed a lot of shit in this TV show so far. So, yeah, she's going to go and find Jakin. It's going to be everything I want it to be. It has to be. It really, really does. Stannis continues to be a huge...
You don't think he's the Manus?
Gawping moron.
You don't think he's the Manus?
No, I don't think
Stannis is the Manus. Just ask him.
He's utterly hopeless.
He makes semen demons.
He's no longer a tragic hero anymore. He's just tragic.
Well, have you seen his wife? We talked about that.
That's
happy wife, happy life. Well, he's got no happy wife.
I want to make another semen demon. Well, you're not strong enough, but I'm going to be king?
Yeah, well. His whole game plan is a little awry.
Yeah, indeed.
It's like, what happens if you get what you want? I don't know, but I deserve to be king because it's my right. Do you even want to be king? I must be king because it's my right. Would you like to be king? I must be king because it's my right. It's like, do you have anything else to say? I must be king because it's my right.
Sansa continues to be useless.
But
useless and
now.
Even more... Yes, and... whoever wrote the show is like, well, we haven't thought of something really fucking horrible to do to Sansa yet.
Well, let's give her hope that she might escape by marrying her to Tyrell, and then we'll take that away.
Yeah. No, I the business with her and Tyrion is
some of it's touching.
Yeah, it's
There's
about
some touching scenes together.
I look forward to seeing some of their dialogues, but that's just going to go sideways so bad somewhere. And I just
gotta have
waiting for it to happen.
She has to have a little dwarf baby. Tyrion says, or Tywin says so.
No doubt. Naming of principal characters, especially now that the Red Wedding is done and over with. Much ballyhoo about he kills everybody and blah 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 blah. And well, he's killed everybody but readily identifiable principal characters.
What? No, look at all the dead people.
There's
the one guy, and there's
Ned
the
Stark.
other guy, and there's the other old guy, and then the other old guy, and
Ned Stark had to die as a catalyst. Mm-hmm. Somebody else somewhere will probably die in either season 4 or season 5 to serve as the next big catalyst you need to push the emotional flow of the show over into its last third. But right now,
it's supposed to rob.
Well, I mean, that was and maybe that's what the Red Wedding was supposed to be. And if that's what the Red Wedding was supposed to be, you failed.
Well, and it was the giant setback that would keep the Northmen from ruffle stomping the rest of the South.
Yeah. Yeah. I am going to go ahead and call it right now that alive, at least still in episode 7, or in season 7, I will say that they will live until the final conflict, and then there will probably be lots of people that die.
Okay.
But Arya, I think, is still going to be alive. Sansa, tragically. Tyrion and Tywin. Cersei, Jaime, Bran, and Jon. Daenerys obviously has to be there as well, and Jorah Mormont, I suspect, will probably carry on until...
What was that list again there?
Arya, Sansa, Tyrion, Tywin, Cersei, Jaime, Bran, Jon, Daenerys, and probably Jorah.
Okay.
I'm curious about how accurate is that list? Not completely accurate, otherwise you would have said completely accurate.
Exactly.
So, okay.
That's not completely accurate, but I'm not spoiling you by telling you how close you are.
That's fair. That's fair. God, please let it be Sansa. or who else? Who else could stand to go? I wouldn't mind losing Jon. I wouldn't mind losing Bran.
He's on the cover of the paperback. He's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Wouldn't mind losing Jon or Bran or Sansa.
Wow, you just have a thing against Starks. Who are you, George Martin?
I just can't be. They're just so much of the bad crap in this book happens because Starks run around the world. Starks and Tyrells making bad decisions.
Well, who else could we even throw into that list? Olenna,
Marjorie. As somebody
Loras.
that we're going to tag as a principal. Mm-hmm. As a principal, as somebody that we think is going to be alive until at least the final conflict.
Okay. In
the show, and no, I would not. I'm trying to think of anybody else that I would throw on there as a principal.
Okay.
Stannis, I can't be bothered by him. I can't be bothered by Stannis.
He's the Manus, damn it. Show some respect.
I guess I wouldn't be particularly surprised if Davos somehow managed to hang on. He survived Blackwater. I wouldn't be surprised if Davos managed to hang on until season 7. But no, I those are the ones that I think are stand the best chance of being around until at least season 7.
Okay. Your list is partially correct. I'll put it that way. And also partially incorrect.
I could kind of sort of see Tywin, and this is because I've seen set photos from season 7. I know that Cersei ends up sitting on the throne, and if Cersei's there, that means Tywin's poofed. So I could kind of see Tywin going. And of course,
Tywin wouldn't have a claim to the throne, so
he'd find some way to take it anyway, because his balls are just that
big. Because he's
Tywin
fucking Lannister. He should have been Sean Connery if Charles Dance wasn't available. I'm Tywin fucking Lannister.
Yeah, but then we would have had to have put a picture of Charles Dance in a thong.
That's true. That would
last episode. Did
you get any complaints about that? I didn't see the
comments. No, not a peep.
Nobody cared? No.
Not a peep, which is
Nobody
a shame.
cared.
It's classic. Yeah, so big pile of people. Logistics, and this is the last big. Yeah, this is the last big thing that I had on my list of things here. The logistics of Dany and her army, and this is something that I haven't seen really well illustrated in this show. And maybe this is me just being massively anal retentive. Robb Stark gathers all of his men, but you don't hear anything about the logistics or the camping or the supplies or yada yada yada. Tywin, when you see his forces, you at least see all the tents and you see the massive camps. You don't see any of that with Robb. And where in the 9 hells is Dany going to get enough food and provisions and medical supplies and equipment for the hundreds of thousands of people she now has following her?
From her plot armor.
She get given 2 big chests of gold bars.
We were so close. We were this far away from the end of the podcast. You just couldn't do it. We're going to drag you over here for these in the future.
We're putting you on camera.
Yeah, maybe that's, she was right. There was the gold chests that were brought, and maybe that's what she's using. But I
There are some amazing feats of logistics coming up in future episodes.
That makes me feel even better about what's happening.
you might as well criticize it now because it's not getting any better.
It's gonna happen, huh?
Varys particularly acquires a TARDIS somewhere. He's Varys in the TARDIS because he shows up places you have no idea how he got there that quick.
Yeah, at this point, story's going to need to speed up really freaking quick, because the White Walkers and all of their people have already started marching on the wall, and they're close enough to the wall that they can see it, so they ain't that far away from it. Dany's dragons aren't fully grown yet. Dany still doesn't have a well-equipped army yet. It's the end of season 3. We're wandering into season 4. It should be time for the Royal Rumble. But
we're on season 7 now.
Yeah, but everybody started flagellating about how season 7 is, when the White Walkers march on, blah, 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 blah. The White Walkers better be doing some marching, like, in the first couple episodes of season 4, otherwise they stop to take a nap.
Yeah,
you do some painting.
Zombieing is tiring. Sometimes you just gotta curl up.
I guess. I that needs to pick up a little bit. It really, really does. Because you've got these huge forces that are running around in the world now, and they're within spitting distance of each other. Nobody's doing anything. They've stopped for potty breaks.
Well,
why didn't you go when we were back at the?
You've got the walkers above the wall. There's about 3,000 miles between the wall and the actual south. Most of it unoccupied by anything that cares. Then you have the south, which, with the death of Robb's army and the betrayal of the Freys, isn't much of a fight right now. So you've got Cersei and the Lannisters and the Tyrell alliance, and there's really nobody else for them to fight with in the south. Then you've got that little ocean thing, and then you've got Dany over there. So you've got 3 large forces, but they're geographically separated. And a couple of them don't really have any... Well, one of them doesn't have any enthusiasm for fighting right now because they just won, and, they want to...
Yeah, kick back and rest on their laurels for a little bit. I at least want to see the Castle Black get just completely Ruffle stomped. I really, really do.
Well, there is no castle to the south, so...
I don't know,
which is really, really stupid. But we can get into that.
I expected there to be some kind of conflict, before now. So we'll see what happens in season 4.
Yes, we will.
We'll see what happens in season 4. But yeah, a little bit better, slowly but surely. At this point,
Arya's a badass.
There's so much of season 4. Season 4 could just be a training montage for Arya at this point, and I would be completely happy.
Yeah.
We'll be completely happy. This episode, we're going to go over swordplay and
don't name your sword. The Hound doesn't like people who name their swords.
Oh, really?
He has special words for them.
I
thought that came up in season 3. Maybe it's later.
Yeah, it might have. I don't know. I didn't catch that one. Yeah, no. Season 4 could just be a training montage for Arya, and I'd be okay with it. But we're really starting to smell like we're stretching the story out a little bit between what's going on now and what I know has to be happening in season 7. So we'll see what they manage to couple up in season 4. So here probably in another week.
Are we ready for season 4? Hey, a season a week. That's not too bad.
10 episodes. Oh my God, you're drilling through it so quickly. Well, the seasons are less than half the size of it.
Well, we went through American Gods in one night, so...
That was good television.
Good television.
Yeah. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and we'll be back for season 4 here in about a week.
Probably about a week. Bye.
It's recording. It is going.
It's good.
It's good. We are ready for season 3.
Yeah. All right, here we go.